Last week, on the Lords of Grantham podcast, we were talking The Other Bennet Sister, episode 4. In that episode, we had Hayward introducing poetry to Mary, and she got really into it, started reading it on her own. But the thing is, she can't go for Hayward because he's kind of spoken for because Miss Baxter. But she did meet a William Ryder, and he was really intriguing, and it looks like we're going to see a lot more of him talking to Mary. And we'll follow up on that and more this week on the Lords of Grantham podcast.
But I'm a creep. I'm a widow. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here.
And we are back to discuss more of the Adventures of Mary Bennet. Mm-hmm. What's going on, Corey?
Not too much. Dog days of summer out here. Just looking at man, I should take some time off before the summer ends. I need to enjoy these days.
Hey, you have an extra half hour every week.
That's true. from the other Bennet sister. But yeah, man, just straight chilling, enjoying the weather while I can. How about you, Dave?
Same thing. Can't complain.
No. And we're in the thick of it with the other Bennet sister, right in the middle half of the season.
Yeah. This was an episode where it was really hard to not want to keep watching.
Was it? Really? Oh, I felt fine.
When this episode ended, I was like, let's keep going. I'm having fun.
Feeling good. Well, Dave, in terms of our other shows, not much news. Just some bits and bobs I picked up on. Disney reported their financials for Q2, and they're a little bit down because apparently people weren't hot to Mandalorian or Moana. Shocking. One is an adaptation of a TV show, and people will just watch it later on TV, and the other one is coming right after the sequel just came out less than 2 years ago. But they did...
And it looks strange.
The Rock does not look good for that role. I don't know. But they did highlight their TV division and specifically called out Rivals as part of their growing international efforts for Disney TV Plus. And they saw that...
I was going to say this could go one way or the other when you started talking.
Yeah. They said that they see Disney Plus as being the centerpiece of their digital frontier, and shows like Rivals internationally is helping them to get there. And with the failure of Moana, I think that means there's just less of a chance of Dwayne Johnson showing up in Rivals to help, save the day or improve the ratings.
Less of a chance. I feel like he's winding down towards Ballers status again.
Okay, so you're thinking...
Even though one may argue that Ballers was at his apex at that time.
It was an odd move to do Ballers when he did. So you're saying we could get a bigger celebrity on Rivals based on how things are trending? Or at least
we can get Moana herself.
Let's get Moana
herself. Or the Hey the chicken.
Yeah, let's get Lin-Manuel.
Sure.
Speaking of Lin-Manuel Miranda, they made a huge fuss about the Hamilton musical being released as a movie a few years back. It was already on Disney Plus, but then they released it in the theaters anyways, as they originally planned. It only made about $16 million. And the interesting thing that's happening at the box office, beyond The Odyssey and Spider-Man Brand New Day, is that Hadestown the musical has done pretty well here domestically. It's actually...
I've heard that.
Yeah, it's made more money than Hamilton already. Dave, do you know who is one of the stars of Hadestown?
I'm trying to think of who it would be. Jack Trotter.
Close. As we know, there's a lot of Broadway actors that are in the Gilded Age. But the person who plays Hades himself of Hadestown is none other than Patrick Page, who we also know as Clay from the Gilded Age.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
he's a Broadway. Sometimes when actors play tough, and I mean no disrespect to Broadway, but I would never have guessed Clay as a theater kid.
Oh yeah, he's heavy. He's the bad guy. He's Hades. So I like it that if you go to the theaters this weekend, you got your chance of Spider-Man, Matt Damon in The Odyssey, The Rock as Moana, or not as Moana as the...
That's not in the theater anymore.
No, or you could see Patrick Page,
Tom Hanks,
a.k.a. Clay, in Hadestown the musical.
Well, while we're on the subject of the Gilded Age, I think my girlfriend Eileen texted me while she was driving to say that when we discussed what's his name, Morgan Spector of the Gilded Age being in the new Dan Brown show as Robert Langdon, that she thought we were being a little dismissive of the cultural impact that the Da Vinci Code had.
Were we?
And that Robert Langdon is not indeed the great descendant of Jesus, but his friend is.
Spoiler alert for people who haven't read Da Vinci
Well, I don't
Code.
know. We kept saying he was this. So if that was true,
Yeah.
that was a spoiler as well.
It is true.
But
We were far off.
I guess we should just say the Gilded Age. Da Vinci Code, obviously a massive piece of entertainment, and I think I made a comment that everyone's dad had it on their coffee table, which is not a bad thing.
No, it was very popular. But the funny thing about that show is that they just announced...
It was canceled.
yeah, before it even comes out, it's just not happening. They actually cast Morgan Spector's wife as the co-lead, Rebecca Hall, who's a very famous actress and been in many things. So it's literally going to be them two as a couple on the show. Kind of fortuitous for Morgan Spector getting to work with his wife every week on this Netflix show. So
Cool.
pretty cool. And we all know the Gilded Age is coming back, but with Hadestown blowing up and Morgan Spector getting busy, how can we expect this show to keep going, Gilded Age, when all these people are everywhere?
Or does that bolster the Gilded Age?
Maybe it turns more eyes to it. I don't know. But in the meantime, we are talking about the Bennet sister, the other Bennet sister.
Yes.
So we're following up on last week. She's writing a letter to her mom to let her know, hey, I'm not going to make it. I'm still needed here. The governess has returned, so they don't really need me here. But I got so many social engagements, Mama. I can't come home.
To which I was so glad that she didn't pussyfoot around it. She's just like, they don't need me, but I'm here, and I want to. They need me for other things, which is basically them saying, we're chilling, we're having fun.
And I love that she ends the letter saying, miss you all, and then just kind of second guessing herself as she writes that. Like, do I really miss them all?
No,
definitely not. But we're really set up in this episode for Mary to find a husband. And Baxter is like, well, if you're sticking around and you got nothing else going on, this is the perfect time to find one.
Yeah. And I still think, obviously Baxter is none the wiser about the flirtations between Hayward and Mary. But she basically says, echoes the sentiment that Mary said last week, which was, marriage or misery are your two options in life. And she tried once, which I'm assuming she means throwing herself at Mr. Collins, to which everyone was like, don't even. And now she's talking about just the idea of it, to which Anne is like, go, what are you doing? Go for it.
Exactly. Now it's time for a makeover.
And still, we have yet to have the ugly duckling to swan makeover. It's another regular old face mask and, regular old spa day.
It's like they're doing it step by step. Or I guess it's more true to the time. Like, how much can you actually make over a woman to, be night and day different? But they put in some effort here. So, yeah, we see a humorous scene where they're mashing some vegetables together, almost making a stew. They even say as much, you got a stew on your face.
Yeah, Mr. Gardiner's like, this smells in here.
Yeah. But, Mary's got to cleanse her face. Dave, have you ever had clay on your face?
No, I've never done anything like that. Have you? You're a big skincare
Yeah,
guy.
I got a facial over the weekend, and I think this is the first time I got a clay mask on. Incredible. My skin felt like it was so fresh
What
afterwards.
did you say about clay?
Felt like it was yeah, we're talking a lot about clay this episode. Felt like my skin could breathe again. So big ups to Mary getting that done for her skin. And then Baxter tries to have her change her cadence of how she walks. And
yeah, she walks like the Undertaker. She's got her hands out.
Yeah, very.
And she walks in, and you could even imagine the gong going off.
So slow
for her walking
in
out.
her walk. And she's like,
but Anne is like, no, you got to be we got to do
Just
this.
walk
I mean,
normal.
that's definitely a miscongeniality style moment of stop being weird, be normal.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a really cute moment, especially when Mr. Gardiner comes in and he's like, "You got a stew on your face," and she's like, "Yeah, don't mind that." And so we see her made up for this ball. And if anything, it just looks like there's a lot of blush on her face. She's very red in the face. Her hair is nice. She takes her glasses off for this thing, so she's doing what I do, which is I don't wear contacts. So it's like, well, if I'm in a public engagement, it's just not going to make people pay attention to my glasses. I'm just going to take them off and ride it out, or put on sunglasses that are prescription, and no one will ask anything. And she keeps fidgeting and adjusting herself. She definitely feels uncomfortable with this presentation of herself.
Yeah. But we get a reiteration of the rules. You don't dance with somebody more than twice. You like this. Basically, everything that she kind of fumbled with the optometrist eye doctor guy in the first episode is reminded of her. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. But have fun.
Yeah. And there's a literal dance card that they carry. I didn't realize this was a thing. Maybe I'm glib, but I guess it has to come from somewhere, the term dance card. She has one, and Mr. Hayward says, "Hey, would you want to have a dance with me, or is your dance card full?" And we see her look at her dance card, and it's completely empty. And she says, "Actually, yes, I have this bandwidth to take you on for a dance here." And even Miss Baxter encourages her.
Well, yeah, well, Anne is, again, completely unaware of what has happened between these two. And is like, do it. It's going to look good for you if you're out there with someone like my man over here.
Yep.
So that's why, and they get out there, and it's very bumbly and awkward. And
It's not a Bridgerton
It's
type of dance where you're feeling like actual chemistry between the two.
not in the slightest.
No. It's pretty...
But it feels like restrained chemistry.
It's chase.
It feels like maybe... What's going on there is they're avoiding the inevitable, which is the opposite of what happens later.
Yeah. And after that, you're like, okay, Baxter, you can go out there with Hayward. I'm going to hang back now. And so she tries to saddle up to someone, Miss Mary, and the guy kind of notices her looking at him, and then he's like, I don't want her to look at me. I'm getting out of here.
Don't they have a nice little? They have a little chat about something.
No, they don't.
Or is it the eye contact?
It's just eye
There's
contact.
another person. Yeah.
But then that's when she clocks that, oh, Mr. Ryder's here.
Yeah, and he sees her and lights up.
He's like, you want to dance, and she's like, my feet are tired, which, based on what we see from Mary this episode, I believe her. She's not a very physically active person.
No, she had a tough time throwing rings around.
Exactly. So I believe her that the one dance with Hayward was enough. But he's telling her, like, he doesn't like these occasions, and he can't imagine that it must be fun for the women where they're bearing the pressure of their parents, and it's not very romantic. But Mary reminds them, like, this is maybe their only chance to move up in the world. So there's a little bit, of course there's pressure. It means something to them in terms of, like, having a life. And so you kind of start to understand why he's a different kind of free spirit than Hayward. He's a little bit more self-involved as a male that time may be, who's not trying to get married. He's only seeing things from his perspective.
Yeah, well, and I don't know if he's being a rake or anything like that. He's just having fun.
Exactly. And to the point where when they dance, he's skipping around to his loo, and she can barely keep her breath up.
And this is like a dance where two people are having fun and they're making a scene, and everyone is kind of sees joy. And I think that's something that this show, we said it every week, it excels at celebrating joy as an emotion. It's a very joyful show, and this is seeing these two dance is very fun, and it makes you want. It reminds you of why, like, letting your guard down is so much fun.
Oh yeah, you don't know what you don't know until you actually experience it, and so, like, she's actually enjoying herself despite, like, all her previous reservations, and she's talking about the books that she likes to read, and he asks her, "What's your secret indulgence?" "I don't know. I don't care about what you read for history." And she says, "The servants' pamphlets." and like saw them as a grisly crime to read those things as a kid, and had to hide from our mother, and they're just yucking it up about that. And everyone's paying attention, like, whoa, they are having a ball out there. And he asked her to dance again, and this is to your point, Dave. It's a no. If you dance twice with someone, that means something. You're turning yourself off from other suitors.
Yeah. And she really... Do you think she's 100% oblivious to the fact that he's feeling her?
Yeah, I think she's oblivious. Because I also kind of can see where he's also in it to have a good time like she is. And so there's a chance there that he's not seeing it as like a serious pursuit. This is all just part of him having a night out. And he enjoys her company in particular, but I don't know if it's meant to be like, I want to take the next step with her.
Mm-hmm. True. Yeah. But we see that Anne is all about it. It's like, look at him. He likes you.
Or at least what he's doing would suggest as much to others.
Yeah. To which Mary's like, he does not. I am telling you definitively, he does not.
And you can see it too in the way he's getting ice for her, like either sherbet ice cream or whatever for Baxter.
Ices, as they call it.
Yeah, ices. For Baxter and for Mary and for himself. Like, he's trying to make a good time for everyone. And then when Hayward shows up, he's like, oh, do you want one too, bro?
And he's like, oh, yeah, whatever.
But you were saying something, Dave, before I stopped you?
Yeah, they have a nice conversation about what the function of these events are. Mm-hmm. And Ryder says, like, the only thing that should be guide us is the heart. Like, this is something that we should be doing for fun. And they talk about all of the sort of emancipation and all this fun stuff, to which Mary brings up the fact that, like, if a man is doing this and having all the fun, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But the woman carries the consequence. In her way of saying, like, hey, I'm not dumb.
Yeah.
Like, I know what happens to these women that kind of cross the line. Mm-hmm. It's bad.
Right. There's actual stakes for her.
And I think that Ryder is understanding of that.
For sure. But it's enough to knock Caroline Bingley off her rocker, because she shows up, and yeah, she's been there the whole time. And
oh yeah, what a great, like, you want to talk about Mary walking like the Undertaker. This is like a wrestling run-in. Mm-hmm. When Caroline Bingley comes in, it's like, and I literally thought to myself as I was pushing play on this episode, like, we can't be done with Caroline Bingley. Like, this can't be over.
Yeah, she's
sure enough, here she is.
And she's already taken shots at Mary, like, oh, I heard the governess in London is back. So what are you doing here? Or are you still the governess? Is that what happened to you? Like, mm-hmm. And she's like, Mary tells her, I'm just in London, for a little bit while longer. And Caroline says, looking for a husband? Like, you sure about that? You're a radical thinker. And
she shakes Mary. Mary is like, oh, God.
Yeah. And
I can't do this.
Hayward, being the friendly guy, invites her to a supper that he's having. And Caroline sees another shot to take her down a peg, saying, oh, and you'll sing. And
yeah. Oh, Caroline is awful. It's horrifying.
Yeah, you must sing. And Mary says, I don't think so. But yeah, well, join us on Thursday then. Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yep.
And we cut to her talking to Mrs. Gardiner about this. Mm-hmm. And Mrs. Gardiner is not... She's very much on Mary's side of, like, don't let her push you around. She did that the first time you saw me on screen. I was upset that you got pushed around like that.
Yeah.
And now I'm even more upset. And she says, we do not run and hide from Caroline Bingley's of the world.
And makes a good point, too, that, she fancied herself to marry Darcy, and now she's threatened by you. Like, what does that say about her? Mm-hmm. She's just got very, fragile ego. And Mary does say she's better than me, and she's beautifully dressed, doesn't lack confidence, and treats her as beneath her. But, yeah, like you said, Baxter reminds her, we don't run and hide from her. She's not anything special, okay? If she was, she'd be married by now. She ain't, because she's a rude person. And so, yeah, we get to the supper, Baxter. And also, by the way, Gardiner's in no rush to move Mary out of there, even though the governess is shown back up.
Yeah. The Gardiners are great.
Fantastic.
I mean, these are the ultimate, like, step parents. Mm-hmm. They are really doing everything in their power to make Mary happy and thriving. And we saw this earlier in the beginning of the episode where Anne Baxter has a conversation when they're talking at promenading, where she says, oh yeah, my mom said I was ugly. Mm-hmm. I didn't write the exact quote down. And then Anne says, what a terrible thing to say.
Yeah.
And I think we're kind of, Mary's starting to realize that she was kind of abused in a way as the sort of runt of the litter, for lack of a nicer phrase. Mm-hmm. But she was not favored by anyone. And the Gardiners and Baxter and Ryder and Hayward, all these people are like doting on her.
Yeah, she's a good hang.
Yeah.
And so she shows up to this party, and Hayward is absolutely in. He's coming up to her saying like, "Yo, I was reading something this morning." Or what was it? No, he's like showing off his insects that he has there. Very proud of them that he's inherited from his father.
Ryder, not Hayward.
Ryder, rather, yeah. He inherited these from his father. Hayward is there with Baxter, and he's talking to her about his extensive book collection. That they even have some Grimm's books there, Brothers Grimm books, I think. But he read something this morning that made him think of her, and Mary's like, "Thought of me?" And Caroline comes in and is just interrupting, trying to run the show. Like, "Oh, you hung up a portrait of Catherine de Bourgh, my family member. Fantastic."
Nice name drop.
Exactly. I know her.
We haven't heard from her at all.
Yep. And then Ryder's like, "Well, I'm just trying to find a book here that I thought of this morning because of Mary." And she's like, "You thought of a book because of Mary?" What?
Yeah, Caroline is in. She's having a rough go this week.
I don't know about rough go, but she's just like, I gotta keep this guy under my thumb.
She's in defensive mode.
Mm-hmm. And she cuts down Mary once again, like, "Oh, how refreshing it is to see someone who defies the dictates of fashion." Just, aka, you're not dressing nicely. You look like you're wearing something that's out of step with fashion. And so they go to sit down at the dinner table. Caroline is...
Well, before they even go to sit down, Caroline's like, "Hey, would you mind if I go just double check the seat placement?" To which Ryder's like, "Whatever, you're cool, we're friends." Yeah. And obviously, she rearranges the seats.
Yeah, Caroline is sitting next to Ryder, and then Mary is between an old man who has like one of those horns up to his ear to hear things, and another man who's coughing violently, and otherwise, tame dinner. Which is always the worst. When you saddle up next to someone and they're the coughing person in the bunch, it's like, why did this happen to me? Like, I had to choose this seat. Like, get out of here, person. And what do we see? We see...
The dinner kind of flows. Yeah. They're just kind of going... And Mary's watching from the other side of the table thinking, what can I do?
Yeah, because they're just yucking it up, Caroline and Ryder. And she feels on the outside end because she has no one to talk to here. And she does a great job here of navigating this conversation because the dude next to her is a dud, Mr. Hurst. She's trying to bring up her literary interests. Like, do you like books? Do you like stories about democracy or any interest in geology? And he's like, nope. Well, tell me what you like, okay? Because I got nothing here.
Yeah.
What's he into, Dave?
Horses.
Horse. Silly horse.
Of course.
Yeah, horse racing specifically. And she says, "Teach me all you know." And he's like, "I don't got the time for that." But I can start.
She goes, "Well, let's start."
Well, and the thing is, it's not like he's actually that much of an intelligent guy about it. He's like, they got legs. They got 4 legs.
Yeah, this is what the hind legs do, the front legs.
Oh my gosh.
But it's like they're laughing, and he makes a little horse out of stuff on the table, which is probably kind of a really inappropriate thing to do at a dinner
He's
party.
Clearly a doofus.
Yeah, but their joy is infectious. We see Hayward is looking at... Hayward has this vibe in this episode, like, I found it first, and I feel like I should be getting my credit for discovering, my finder's fee for discovering Mary Bennet.
Yeah.
when in actuality, he's a dog and he was flirting behind his woman's back. But his face in this one is like really unfortunate. And you see Ryder looking over at Mary with a sort of glee, like, oh man, I kind of want to know what's going on over there.
Yeah, she knows how to have a good time. Other people are a little bit annoyed. We overhear them talking like, man, they're making a big fuss at that end of the table there.
People don't know how to have fun, I guess.
That's the thing.
I mean, Caroline Bingley doesn't know how to have fun.
Mm-hmm. And so it wraps with Mary saying to him, like, if I ever need to make a wager on a horse, I'm consulting you, buddy. Okay? You have a good night there.
Mm-hmm. And she gets confronted again by Caroline.
Yep.
Caroline's like, oh, look at you. You really think you're something, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, well, you basically talking about like rejection.
Yeah.
And Mary cuts into Caroline and says, well, like, you really come at me with all this rejection talk. Like, you must be awfully familiar with the idea of being rejected. That or you're just being nasty for no reason. And Caroline looks like shook to her core.
Oh, and even when she says, Catherine de Bourgh spoke about you as, not being as astonishing or impressive or pretty as your sisters or
Mm-hmm.
intelligent. And I love that Mary's just like, yo, that's not, that's frankness, but that's also another way of just saying rude. And I have to say, why you got to be so rude, Catherine de Bourgh?
Mm-hmm.
But Caroline...
But in this moment, you see Caroline kind of coils back. Like, she
does, but she also says, remind yourself, you got to stay in your proper sphere. You're not on my level, okay? But
yeah, well, that's the kind of threat that we can work with. Mary can overcome that.
Yeah.
She's just jealous that her Mary's sister got the man she wanted.
Mm-hmm.
But then that invites another awkward moment between Hayward and Mary, where he jumps in. He's like, hey, look, if Mr. Ryder's being too much of a cad, I can get in there and I can tell him to leave you
I'm
alone.
being a good guy. I'm being a nice guy here, telling you what I can do for you. And Mary's just like, no, I actually enjoy the company of Mr. Ryder. He's cool. I can't deny it.
It's like, maybe if I knew the status of all my male friends, my life would be a lot better.
Mm-hmm. And we didn't even mention, too, there's a brief glance of a man glaring at Baxter at the dinner table, and she looks back at him, but she like kind of brushes it off.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you can tell from this moment, like the awkwardness of Hayward. Baxter's getting a little annoyed with him.
Maybe. I didn't see it that much. But we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah. But then Caroline can't take a licking.
Mm-mm.
She's got to fight back. She starts going, it's time for you to sing, Mary. And of course, Mr. Ryder, being the fun guy that he is like, yeah, please, 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 sing, sing, sing. And tensions are rising. Mary's kind of
hyperventilating,
maneuvering to the middle of the room, thinking that she's going to have to actually do this, knowing that what happened last time. And in run the Gardiners. We got to go. Mom's falling ill. We got to get you back to Pemberley as soon as possible.
And she knocks over the insects, Ryder's insects, to the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Now, Dave, do we think Miss Bennet's actually ill?
My gut says no, but I really hope she is.
I do not believe for a second she's ill. I think she got Mary's letter and was like shocked that she said, I don't need to come home to you, Mother. I'm good. And shows this is like some performative bit just to get her to come back to Pemberley.
I could see that. I could very much see that.
She's so dramatic, Miss Bennet. I can't take it. She's the woman who cried wolf. Like, I can't buy anything she has to say. But yeah, that's this week on the show. A solid episode, very straight line. There's the supper and the dance. That's pretty much it. Negotiating where Hayward is with his feelings for Mary, and Mary just kind of fumbling her way forward. Not a good look to pass out at a party, but curious to see what happens next week, though. As you said, Dave, where the episode leaves off, like, does she go back to Pemberley? What's going to happen there?
Mm-hmm. I mean, she's going back to Pemberley, but
yeah.
My question is, does Ryder follow her, or does Hayward follow her? These people go to check on her. I think it's like that Simpsons episode where they go on vacation and Lisa meets all the cool kids, and At the end of the episode, they surprise her with a yearbook full of signatures.
Oh, yeah. The July 4th party.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of like we're going to see Mary's life come back to Pemberley to make everyone at Pemberley feel like, oh, we really did sleep on her.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll follow her there, but it's definitely going to be a thing where she won't be in Pemberley for long. She can't be. The drama's not there. It's not happening there. Where are we, though, in terms...
Well, everybody is kind of there when you think about it. You can easily get Caroline Bingley back there. Gardiner, everyone can go back to Pemberley if that's what we want.
But Hayward and Ryder won't be there, I don't think.
I think they're following her.
Okay.
One of them or both of them are following her there. Especially if something happens to Mrs. Bennet that's actually happening.
Where are we in the Hayward versus Ryder games?
Ryder. Hayward is... I line up with his ethics.
Okay. I think he'll be a more... Once he clarifies where he's at with Baxter versus Mary, I think he's the better long-term deal. But right now, I think you have some fun with Ryder and you let it ride.
But I also think Ryder has much more emotional depth. I know that Hayward likes poetry, and Hayward is a classier gentleman, but I think Mary's the kind of person that she would benefit from an extrovert.
Yeah, definitely to open her up. But the way Ryder talked this week about marriage and whatnot, I feel like he's definitely an intellectual about it, but I don't know if he's there. He's emotionally mature to grasp what she was communicating, and I think that's a longer-term issue. But yeah, we'll see where it lies or what goes on.
Yeah, I mean, either I would say I would like Hayward, or rather I would like Ryder, or I would like someone different.
A third person. Yeah, optometrist wasn't that bad. He was a nice guy. All right, let's get to the power rankings.
Sure. Who do you got going down this week?
Well, number 3, I got the insects. You know, they were the prized possession of Ryder, and then they just get knocked to the ground at the end. And then Ryder looks a little annoyed by this. Like, wait, no. Those are my daddies.
Yeah, my dad's dead, bug.
Right. R.I.P. How about you, Dave?
Well, at number 3, we don't know the true intentions of what is going on, but I think Mrs. Bennet at number 3 going down. Whether or not she's actually sick, this is the first time that Mary's kind of said, I don't want to be there right now. Mm-hmm. And it's because I have social engagements.
Yeah.
And I think if she's actually sick, that stinks. If she's not actually sick, she's evil.
Well, I think we know she's pretty evil in her own way.
Yeah.
Own special way. Well, number 2 going down, I got Hayward. The guy's a loser.
So do I.
He's just, it's just communicate directly, brother. Like, what you're afraid of what's going to happen.
Don't be afraid
with Baxter, but if you really like Mary, claim it. What are you doing, bro?
Like put a ring on. It's time to get off the pot, my friend.
People move fast in those times, dude. She's not going to be single forever.
Yeah, 3 dances in one night, and you could marry someone.
Exactly. And then you leave Baxter being like, I shouldn't have done so well with that makeup on her and everything, and getting the facial and all that. Mm-hmm. Well, number 1 going down, I actually got Mary.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Because I think for her, at the end of this week, she's so hyperventilating at that party. She's so... As much as she has comebacks at Caroline to get her to push off her, she is definitely throwing off her orbit. She's rattled by Caroline's arrival, and it kind of keeps Mary on her back foot this episode. As much as she is engaging with Ryder, I think she's more perturbed than we've seen her in a couple weeks. And so,
okay.
And then, just again, news about the illness at the end is pretty rough for Mary.
Okay. Well, I've got Caroline at number 1 because I think this is the first time we see her start to crumble. And she does everything in her power. She puts herself right next to Ryder in an effort to throw Mary off. And as Mary says, like, are you even messing with me? Are you just doing this to, like, cause trouble? Like, you trying to get with Ryder? You just messing with me. And Ryder spends the whole dinner staring at Mary as she's talking to the horse guy.
Yeah.
And, Caroline basically is trying to bully Mary into singing. And once the bugs are cleaned up, everyone's going to know why Mary had to leave. And Caroline's going to look like an even bigger fool.
We'll see about that.
Like, I think she's the big heel of the show as of this moment. And I think she leaves this week much more emotionally unstable than when she started it.
We'll see about that. Well, who's going up, Dave?
Well, number 3, I got Ryder, because I don't think he's messing around.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's having fun, and I think his eyes, every time they go to Mary, he smiles, and I think for a show about Mary Bennet, it always makes me happy to know that other people find joy in her. And I think whatever his long-term intentions are, he's not being like Hayward and trying to like hide how he feels about her. The fact that them dancing, smiling, and laughing is enough for me to be like, I like this guy. Yeah. I don't think he's up to anything wrong. He might not be on Mary's
for
level.
a good time.
Yeah.
Well, number 3 going up, I got Baxter. She does the good deeds of saying like, hey, it's
yeah, Baxter's good.
Yeah, time to think about having a husband, Mary. Let's make a stew, put it on your face. Let's teach you how to walk. Yep. And I'm going to steal some glances from some guys at this party while Hayward's doing God knows what. Because, yeah, that's just what I do. I'm Miss Baxter. I'm hot.
Sure. Yeah.
It's good for her.
We like hot friends. Everyone needs a hot friend.
Exactly.
Well, number 2, you got her going down. I got Mary going up. I
Okay.
think, aside from the moments of literally like the last few minutes, I think she might be on her back foot, but she's winning everything that happens with her. Mm-hmm. Caroline comes at her, and thanks to Mrs. Gardiner's assistance, she has the courage to be like, "Hey, back off! Like, are you used to rejection?" To which, like, Caroline's next attack is sing, to which we never truly see how that would have paid off. And like I said about the dancing, we like seeing Mary smile. The scene she's put next to an old cranky guy and a weirdo who talks about horses, and she turns that chicken you know what into chicken salad that everybody wants to serve.
Sure.
Aside from the stuffy old people. So I think Mary leaves with a higher social IQ than she started.
I have Caroline at number 2 going up because I think it speaks a lot to her power that she shows off and throws Mary off, you know, by like just laying into her. And even as much as Mary may have retorts for what Caroline's saying, it is affecting Mary, and we see that in her conversation with Miss Gardiner in the middle of the episode, where she's like, "She is better than me. Like I can't measure up to this lady." And you say we don't know what happens after Mary passes out, and we see what the sing. I think it says a lot that despite all that Mary's been trying to throw back at Caroline's undeterred. She's like, "Sing, Mary, come on, show up here." She's going to keep going and doing what she wants to do. So like, she's coming from a position of power, even if she's maybe getting knocked down a peg. Still shows that she has the power to upset the flow of things in the episode here.
Sure.
Okay. Well,
my number 1 is a tie for Baxter and Mrs. Gardiner, because these two people hold Mary up to the point that, if it wasn't for Mrs. Gardiner, she's not going to the dinner.
Yeah.
Because of her fear of Caroline Bingley. And if it's not for Baxter, she's not getting that confidence. And I think Mary's support network in the show is one of the most joyful things, because everybody loves a sort of an ugly duckling story because it involves all these other people helping that person realize their potential. And I think these are her coaches on the bench that are pushing her up.
Yeah, they do a good job of it. I got Ryder at number 1, though. This is a guy who does not care what people think of him. He's going to be the talk of the town, even if he's just making a scene. And the thing,
he's a degenerate.
Yeah, and so like he doesn't care what people think of him. He doesn't really care about what women's plights are. He's just like, yeah, well, it's pretty bad that they have to deal with this pressure. Fine for me though. So it must be nice to live without a care until your insects get smashed over. That's the only thing he gets really like rattled about. But it's funny though, Dave, because you say like it's a good thing that Mary's like moving up in the social circle. I don't know if I see it that way too, because when she's making she's talking to the horse guy, a lot of people are turning heads, and I don't know if it's entirely in like the most positive light. They're like, oh, she's really just like taking up space here and like making a scene. Like, you're kind of expected to fall in line a little bit there, and I don't know if it had the desired effect. It definitely drew the attention away from Caroline and Ryder, but like I don't know if that's what I would say like a plus for Mary on. But it definitely is like something like Ryder's like, I like that kind of woman though. I'd like to see that.
Well, what do you think is a better look for Mary? Singing at the event with Mr. Collins, or being overly social at a social event.
I think just being moderately social, just enough.
So that's a non-answer.
Falling in line, I think, is really the best. Because I don't know if she's doing herself favors. Is like everyone's like aware of her and talking about her, and I don't know if that's exactly what she's seeking for, especially if you're looking to settle down with someone. I don't know.
Well, I don't think she's actively looking for. She's not husband hunting.
No.
She says she doesn't think Ryder's into her. Mm-hmm. She just doesn't want Caroline Bingley pushing her around.
Sure, that's true. Well,
and I think she might be more altruistic than Ryder in her intentions. I think she's just out here living her life.
Who's that?
She's changing
Mary?
for the better for this new version of herself, as she said in episode 1.
Yeah.
New Mary. And I think this is all going to pay off by the end of the season. I think like next week we're going to see who's really on Mary's side.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. We will see.
Yeah.
Well, that's this week in The Other Bennet Sister. We spent more time talking about it than the episode actually lasted.
Hey, we had to talk about the Da Vinci Code first.
We did. You been watching anything else, Dave? SummerSlam was this weekend. Anything?
SummerSlam was excellent. I loved it.
Okay.
Great. I mean, I would say it's too in the weeds to get into what, if you like wrestling, ask Justin, we can chit chat there. Mm-hmm. Just a lot of fun, good stuff. But I started watching the newest season of The Ultimatum.
They made a new season.
This is like season 3 or 4.
Okay.
There's a lot of ultimatums. I just needed something to put on in the background. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm only in the dating phase. So for those that don't know, it's a Nick Lachey Netflix dating show where couples that are on the rocks, one person gives the ultimatum to the other, and they go on this show where there's 7 couples, and they break up and repair and do trial marriages with new partners to try to figure out what they want out of life. And I think what Netflix want to happen is these people sleep with each other and mess around, but it always is kind of too tame.
Yeah.
But this season, the people are a bunch of idiots. The men are the worst men I've seen on this show ever. There's one guy that is the most repulsive child that has ever been on a Netflix dating show, and I am having the time of my life watching this unravel.
How are these people that serious about getting married? How could they possibly want to be married?
They're 23 years old. There's
geez.
one couple that's 38 and 35, and then the rest are in their mid 20s, which is y'all are too young to be giving ultimatums at this age.
Truly.
What about you, Corey? You watching anything good?
Well, it's summertime too, and I don't know if I mentioned it, but I'm back in the Big Brother game. I'm watching the reality show Big Brother. Our friend Amanda texted me, and she was like, "Are you watching Big Brother?" And I was like, "I didn't plan on it." She's like, "You got to tune in." And so,
have you been off for a while?
I took a couple of years off because it is the same show every year, and it's fun when you have someone else to talk to it about, because there is a lot of drama going on with the 24/7 of it all, and they've been bringing back older contestants this year because they have a time machine in the show this year, even though it's a reality show. The wrestler Jesse Goddard showed up there to do a wrestling bit
again.
Yeah.
He's back.
Yeah, but it's entertaining. I can't help it, and so it takes up a good 3.5 hours of my week every week.
But sometimes I'm not a Love Island guy, but I understand why Love Island people are the way they are.
I just need to shut off my brain sometimes and just watch some dumb stuff in between, all these heavy movies that I watch and everything, or reading and all this.
Yeah. Well, speaking of heavy movies, we're going to jump on Patreon and talk about Ever After in the third part of our Cinderella series that we've been doing for the past 3 months. So if you're interested in following the Bridgerton season 4 bandwagon, join us.
Is it that heavy, Dave?
We'll talk about
it. Okay. So if you want to hear that, sign up for our Patreon. Otherwise, you know where to find us: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Hit us up at lordsgrantham@gmail.com. Leave comments, 5-star rating, review wherever you listen to us: Spotify, iTunes. And we will catch you next time on the pod.